Oops, you caught me dancing to my music. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Laser hair removal for PCOS, ladies. This is the subject of today's live, and this is what we are going to go through today. What is it, laser hair removal? How does it work? Is it worth it? And even more than that, is it worth it for PCOS? So let's do this. Welcome after a little break. Last week I had time off. Imagine, not really time off, just was swamped with work. So this week we come back with a full force, and this week we're going to be talking about laser hair removal. As you can see, I'm very close and personal today. There you go. I have a little bit different setup, still in the same room, but a different setup. And I am enjoying wheat beer. No, I'm joking. This is actually my homemade kombucha. I can take the label off finally. Beautiful. So, by the way, if you haven't seen my video about PCOS and gut health, make sure you watch it. I talk there about PCOS, gut microbiome, and overall how gut microbiome is very, very important for PCOS and for everything else. So this is my homemade kombucha. This is how it looks like in my nasty glass, and it's delicious. And if you are interested in tutorial on how to make homemade kombucha, let me know, and I might actually film a video about this because it's pretty cool, and I do it every week. Oh, Cruise Creative, you see, there's my boyfriend saying it's very nice drink. How fantastic. Right, so we are going to be talking about laser hair removal. By the way, if you're watching it live, wherever you're watching, leave me a comment, tell me where you're watching from. I would love to know who is watching and to say hi to you all. I missed you all through this last week that felt like forever. So let's start, shall we? So first, let's go through what the laser hair removal actually is. So laser hair removal is actually a medical procedure, and it's very important to know that it's not just something that anybody should do. It is a medical procedure that uses a concentration beam of light, which is laser, to remove unwanted hair. So there are many types of lasers out on the market, and they have different frequencies, and they're, oh my God, how they're called? High concentration, low concentration, and so on. So you have a lot of different types of lasers. Nowadays, back in the day, it was just one. It is very important to what I'm going to be talking about later. So there are very many types of lasers out on the market. And how do they actually work? So laser actually emits the light that is absorbed by the pigment in the hair. Not by pigment in the skin, by pigment in hair. So the light is actually, that light energy is converted to heat, which damages the sacs within the skin, which are hair follicles, and that those hair follicles produce hairs, right? So the light goes through your hopefully dark hair and goes through your follicle and damages the follicle itself and the sac around it. Heather is watching. Hello, Heather. Missed you. I'm glad that you managed to tune in today. So the damage to the sac, to the hair follicle, is actually what prevents the growth of the hair in the future. So this is the general mechanism of working of laser. Now, let's go through the next slide, which is the question that many people ask. Is laser hair removal okay for every skin color? And unfortunately, the answer is the bigger contrast you have between your hair and your skin, the better result you are going to have. Because the laser sticks into the darkness, to melanin in your skin, right? Melanin is the dark pigment in your skin. So it finds melanin in your hair, it finds melanin in your hair and through that, it goes to your hair follicle, and it destroys it. So for people who have either light skin and light peach fuzz, or just light hair overall, sometimes our body hair are also light, even though they might be quite thick, that is not the best choice. And for people with darker skin tones, it might not be the best choice. It's not said that it's not going to work. I know that there are now different types of lasers, and some work better for laser hair removal for darker skins as well, so they're a little bit more advanced, but majority of them are going to work the best if the contrast between skin and the hair is quite significant. And this is one of the things to remember about laser hair removal. So what are the risks? The risks are twofold. One is a little bit more short term, the other one is a little bit more long term. The short term risk is skin irritation, and it can be very, very mild. It can be just a little bit of redness, and it can be a little bit of rash, a little bit of like a skin burn almost. And the other one is pigment changes. And pigment changes can be temporary or can be permanent. So it might darker or lighten the affected skin. And there was something written in this article that I took it from, where it said that actually very often with dark skins, it will lighten them, and with light skins, it will darken them. So it is very, very common that you can get pigment changes. It doesn't happen to everybody, but it is something worth thinking about. Now, this is a little bit longer description because I wanted to make sure that I get it right. And this describes what actually happens during the procedure of laser hair removal and how does it generally look like. Let me just have a sip. There is a specific procedure of what you have to do before. You will decide to do a laser hair removal because you should shave the area specific period of time before, but we're not going to go through that. If you're going to decide to go with it, your specific doctor will actually tell you what to do. But what happens is the doctor presses the laser to your skin, and very often your skin is already covered with some sort of cooling gel or a cooling instrument to actually decrease the swelling, to decrease the skin irritation that we talked about a minute ago, right? So depending on a type of laser, it might be either gel or it might be either something cooling or nothing at all. It depends on the type, on the strength of laser. So the doctor activates the laser, and it passes through your skin to your hair follicles. And the intense heat from the laser beam then damages the hair follicles, which inhibits hair growth, right? So we said it, it's a damage to a hair follicle. And this is the whole reason why I copied it. You might feel discomfort, such as warm pinprick, and you'll likely feel a sensation of cold from the cooling device or gel. I thought it's very, very funny. Because of course it can be painful. It depends on the type of laser, the strength of laser, etc. Of course, this is not like how are they called, surface lasers, where you can have pretty much your skin melted off. This is supposed to be working on a very, very small area and only on your hair follicle. But of course, this is in your skin, so you still will have sensation. Now, if it goes to the pain, I went through a few forums and I actually tried to search what feeling people have. And of course, the pain is such a subjective thing, right? Some people will, do this to you, and one person is going to be feeling horrible pain, and the other person is going to say that they didn't feel it at all, because pain is very personal. We have different nerve endings in different areas of our face and our body. And of course, also depending on where the hair removal is, it might be more or less painful. However, many people have actually compared the laser hair removal to rubber band being like hit to your skin, so that it is unpleasant. But because it is like a quick shot, it feels like, someone is like, taking a rubber band and just pinching it, and hitting it on your skin. So it's not super painful. Now, I want to go through to the most important part. So to PCOS, does it work for PCOS? I actually have researched and have watched a few YouTube videos. I have read some articles that I'm going to share with you a little later, but I wanted to see the real women's answers. So I went to the forum, as you do. I went to the Facebook group called PCOS Support, and I found few different comments. So this is one of them. I, of course, deleted. You can follow this group. I really, really like this group, PCOS support group. Women are talking about all sorts of stuff connected with PCOS. And, sorry, just kick the camera. And about their experience with everything, with medication, with everything. So one person said, laser removal have 100% changed my life. Just wanted to share with people that would understand. And of course, it had an array of comments. So this person said 100% change. Very important because we're going to go through to the next one. The next person who had laser hair removal says the hair does come back, but a lot of thinner and lighter. And then the answer is the last time I got my done was 10 years ago, and I have only had few that came back. So now we already have three women, that have used laser hair removal for hirsutism, and they have had very good results. Have a comment. I have a lot of hair on my upper lip and chin, and I have only 23. You are only 23, I'm guessing. It can happen. And the imbalance in hormones can actually cause it. Well, 100% of times, I think, it's caused by hormonal imbalances with some sort of hyperandrogenism, right? Whichever hormone is responsible, whether it is free testosterone, DHT, DHEA, or other androgens. It might be coming from high androgens, which can be coming from insulin resistance. If you're watching, Raquel, if you are watching my videos for the first time, make sure that you switch on and watch my playlist about insulin resistance, and that you watch my playlist about hyperandrogenism, because I was talking not only about hair removal, but also about all the medication that you might be taking and all the diet and lifestyle changes that you should adapt if you want your hyperandrogenism symptoms to ease off. So again, this two people, again, fantastic, beautiful, wonderful results. Now it gets a little bit more complicated because we have another person, and it says, I love when it works like it should. I sadly didn't have the results I wanted. It actually came back worse. I had 18 treatments. And someone asks how long before it started coming back. About 4 months later, I stopped. I just couldn't afford to keep going, and I thought I was okay to stop. Sadly, turns out I would have to be a lifer, and I'm not able to do that. I had a similar situation. I went many times, and they eventually even switched laser types to a more aggressive one because we weren't getting ideal results. Years later, and I'm doing electrolysis now, and I'm seeing way better results. And this is something I want to touch upon because if you Google this, if you Google laser hair removal for PCOS, you will find a lot of clinics that perform laser hair removal, and they are talking about amazing results for PCOS with laser hair removal. However, here you have the actual women who suffer from hirsutism, with them saying that it didn't work for them. So it worked for some, it doesn't work for others. And then we have one more. Pardon me. So how many sessions did you do? My girl doing my laser actually knew that what PCOS was, and said for girls with PCOS, she does 8 sessions, 8 months in a row, 1 time a month, and then a touch-up once a year. And it worked for me. The hair isn't completely gone, but I was so insecure because my hair was so dark and coarse, and now it's thin. I've gotten multiple spots too, like full face, Brazilian, stomach, chest, legs, back, etc. I was fortunate to get a deal for $199, but honestly, my 2nd year and still hairy. It's not funny, really. But as you can see, it doesn't work for everyone. And what I want to touch upon, because there was a little bit few more discussions that I have seen on this forum. And it seems to me that not only, of course, our bodies are completely different, but some women have different treatments than others. And sometimes we don't connect the dots. So it seems to me that women who had hirsutism, but were on some sort of therapy for it, what happens very often is you have excessive hair growth, and your doctor, prescribes you birth control and spironolactone. So you go on these medications, but of course, it's not like you're starting to take this medication and your chin hair are going to fall out, right? It has to take time for it to stop growing. But if you already have those hairs and you start doing laser treatment, it seems to me from the comments that I have read that it actually, that then it actually works fantastically. as long as you are still on medication and you kind of, for the duration of the treatment, you get rid of those hair that were already there, right? So, and then because you are on the treatment, they don't grow back. However, for women who are not on any sort of treatment and are still on some level of insulin resistance, they still have hyperandrogenism, and they still have the reason, so they still have high hormones that actually are causing hair growth. Sometimes see good results, sometimes not. So it's very, very personal to see. Now, if you have ever, we have a couple of comments, let me see. Oh, Diana saying hi. Hi, Diana. I'm currently getting laser hair removal on my chin and upper neck. Let me know how many sessions did you have and what results have you gotten? Because I don't know if you're just switching in, but we have just went through a few comments, and the actual experience is a little bit different. So let us know how many sessions did you have so far and if you're seeing results. So what I want to also touch upon is, of course, laser hair removal can be done on majority of your body parts, as long as I said before, the contrast between the hair and your skin is quite, visible. The bigger contrast, the better. So if you would have very light skin and very dark hair, that would be ideal. So it can be done on every body part. I think the most common, of course, for women with PCOS will be a chin. Oh, actually, I'm playing with my whisker here. I have to take them out with my chin whiskers. So chin, our little upper lip area, belly, lower back, maybe your face overall, your jawline, all the places that are associated with male pattern of hair growth, body hair growth. Let's see, Diana is saying as a message. My second session is tomorrow. So far, the first session went really well. Already seeing way less hair, less ingrowns. Oh yeah, and lightening of the area that was discolored due to years of shaving. Please let me know as well, because it's great that you actually tuned in and you're letting us know about this. Tell me, how did you find the pain of your laser hair removal? Because I'm super interested to actually see it from someone who is live with us, to actually tell us how does it feel. Because I never had it done. I wish. And what I want to touch upon as well is what we were saying. What was I saying? That you can have it done on majority of body parts, right? So it will be probably mostly on the areas that are associated. But the great benefit, what Diana also mentioned right now, is that the hair grows thinner. So even though sometimes you might not get the greatest results, you might have thinner hair, you might have a little bit less of them and less ingrown hairs. And if you go to the forums, like I just showed you, the groups like PCOS, support group, etc., you will see that a lot of women are shaving. And when you're shaving wherever on your body, you usually get red bumps. And, well, I do at least, red bumps, and you can get ingrown hair. So you get the little bumps, that, the hair just grew like this, and, it might have cysts around it or something like that. So that is a big problem as well for many women. So it's not only the fact that they have to shave, but even when they are shaven, their irritation and their bumps and their ingrown hairs are still showing up as, everybody can see that they were shaving, essentially. So that is a big problem for many. And if you have seen, men, they're shaving with very sensitive skin, they always walk around with the bumps on their face. So if a woman walks around with bumps on their face, it's very cloakable that that she probably have shaven. And of course, this is a source of insecurity for many, many people. What I also want to touch upon is that I have researched a little bit the home laser hair removal kits. Now, with those home laser kit removals, I would love to try one of those. With the home ones, they're not as strong as the medical ones, but apparently because you have it at home, you're going to do it, regularly. And maybe it will take a little bit longer than 10 sessions, but you will be able to still get results. It's just going to be a little bit more spread in time, and you might need more sessions, but it's not a problem because you have it at home, right? Let's see. We have an answer about the pain. So the place I go to gradually increases the intensity of the laser. It feels like someone is snapping a rubber band on your skin. That's exactly what I've read as well. And for the first 5 zaps, then you actually feel the burning. Okay, so at the beginning you feel the click, 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 and then it just turns to like overall hot sensation on the skin. which would be actually like, and I know some people who had, surface lasers done. So that is more like that, I guess. My session was about 10 minutes, but the pain is very annoying. And tell me, Diana, did they use any cooling gel or any cooling device on your skin? Because I would love to know that as well. Because I have just shown the slide from Mayo Clinic, actually, where they said that depending on the type of laser, they're going to either put the gel or cooling device on your skin. So it's very interesting. The home ones concern me because they are not great for darker skin tones. Exactly. And this is something that I also mentioned at the beginning, that there are now a little bit more advanced lasers. They are not so dependent on the big contrast between skin and hair. So they are a little bit better for darker skin tones. The ones at home, yeah, probably it's just older technology, right? The laser I use has cooling air attached to it. So it's just cooling air. I know that I saw once that, on one of those plastic surgery programs where they actually had something that was pretty much frozen or like was really, really cold, and it was like attached to a laser. So it was almost like being rolled on the skin, like with the icy sensation, or the cooling gel, of course. I wonder why they're not using, because I don't think they're using, correct me if I'm wrong, Diana, if they are using the numbing gels. I don't think they are. I don't know why, but I've never heard about numbing gel. Right. Now, shouldn't be doing that in front of the mic. Now I'm going to be showing you a couple of articles. I didn't find a lot of them, actually, so it's not going to be a lot. But let me share my screen. So we found out so far, and that's Mayo Clinic. That's not what we want. Google Scholar, this one we want. Let me just see if everything looks okay. Right. So this is a scientific article from sciencedirect.com. And you can see the conclusion of this article is that in women with PCOS, laser treatments is associated with a poorer than expected reduction in hair counts and HFI following treatments. However, offering more than 6 treatments does have additional benefits in terms of prolonging HFI, and overall patient satisfaction with treatment is very high. So this is one, right? So from this one, not a very happy news, because it says that, permanently it might not be the solution, but for people who can actually do it on consistent basis is good. And that would actually concur with the girl, with the one comment that I have shown you before from a girl who was going to this medical professional who was doing at least 8 for one with PCOS and then continuing a little bit more rare at the beginning. Then I will pick up your comment in a second. Now let me stop sharing this and let me share the other one. Second. There we go. Well, we have mechanical hair removal. For some reason, they actually put it under the mechanical hair removal. So it says that the systematic review found that in the short term, alexandrite and diode lasers reduce hair reduction by about 50% up to 6 months after treatment. The evidence for the effects of hair removal of intense pulse lights, blah, 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 of regular lasers was insufficient. Categories are unchanged. So if you see a little bit earlier in this article, you will see that there was something written there. Yeah, that the type of data is not very great for this. Like here, mechanical hair removal with certain types of lasers may be effective in the short term, 6 months, but long-term effects are less clear. And actually, they highlighted in this article that it was very difficult to compare the results. And the reason for that is that there's so many types of lasers, so many types of treatments. It was hard to differentiate people who are going for exactly same laser treatment for exactly same amount of time and also have the same hormonal profile, right? It's impossible because there's so much variation. So it's very, very difficult to compare this data. So that is another one. And let's see. Because I'm going to, by the way, I'm going to quickly show you where am I finding this article, because this is maybe curious for someone. And I'm going to show you my results as well. So laser hair removal PCOS, Google Scholar, highly recommend. Have been using Google Scholar for years and years, starting with my studies. And yeah, you can see that when you Google it, when you Google it in Google Scholar, so it only pulls the scientific articles when you have HTML at the beginning as a website. But you can see already your keywords, right? And as you can see, there is not a lot of articles that are exactly on the subject. So I would say that this is still not very well-researched subject overall. But let's see what Diana says. We can use numbing gels prior to the session, but they do caution that if not fully wiped off, the gel plus laser combo might cause visual burns. Okay, so that's probably why majority of people don't go with that actually. That's very interesting, because I know that for skin laser therapies, they also usually don't use numbing cream, if I'm correct. Maybe because of the burns, yeah. Maybe because it's almost the moisture, heats up and burns you. I don't know. I'm just guessing here. Right. So that is it. That is all I had for you today. So laser hair removal, as you can see, is successful with in some people, is a little bit less successful in others. So it's very, very hard to compare. So things to think about is the type of the laser you're getting, and is it good for your skin color? Because as we mentioned, Diana mentioned as well, if you have a darker skin color, you might have to need you might need specific laser, or if you have very light hair, that might be difficult for you overall. So even if you have quite prominent visible hair, but they're quite bright, quite light, that might be a problem for laser hair removal. Another thing to consider is, of course, where you're going to go and have it done, and it would be nice to have a professional that is specialized in PCOS, or at least knows about PCOS, to understand what is the mechanism of PCOS happening, right? Because some people naturally have just a little bit more. Certain cultures have a little bit more hair on their upper lip, and that might be nothing, but it's important for the doctor to understand that because of our hormonal profile, it can actually it might actually go it might actually go back. So it might be a little bit different strategy that they have to apply. Like Diana said, a little bit stronger and stronger lasers and a little longer treatment. We have another comment. Short answer is no. I've tried it many times and it only lasts a few months. And this is what I'm saying. This is perfect example. Some people swear by it. Some people say it doesn't work at all and it's a waste of money. So this is what I'm gonna mention here, because I want to do another video about electrolysis and about how that works as a comparison, and what people say about that. And I would actually love your input if you have any input about electrolysis in the next week's video. Let's say, yeah, I decided we're going to do a video about electrolysis in next week. Electrolysis for PCOS and for hirsutism. So electrolysis actually is set to be a little bit more permanent solution, and laser depends on the person. Electrolysis, if you ever watched any YouTubers, for example, transgender YouTubers that are going through hormonal changes, which is a very interesting thing to see, they going through the process, right? Their hormones actually change and they have to do something with their facial hair. So they actually swear by electrolysis as well because of the testosterone that they still have in their body. So maybe electrolysis is the way to go. We're going to answer that question in next week. So guys, I'm going to stay a little bit longer and answer your questions, but I'm going to clip this right here on YouTube. So if you're watching on YouTube, on the replay, still make sure that you tell me where you're watching from. Comment in the comments down below, smash the like, smash subscribe, and the notification bell so you are notified about my future lives. And the rest of this video, if you're watching on YouTube, you will be able to watch on Facebook. I'm going to clip it right here. So for those of you on YouTube watching on the replay, goodbye. Now, everybody else, do we have any questions? Because I'm going to pour myself a little bit more of my homemade kombucha. Again, let me know if you want me to show you how to make kombucha. Kombucha is very, very good for, very nice, carbonated. Very, very good for our gut health. Takes a little bit to do, but I can totally make a video about it. I'm going to hang around here for another 2 minutes. Talking about this laser hair removal thing. I would love to try, as I said, the home laser hair removal kit. and to see if it works. I don't have any more high androgen levels. Sorry guys, this is live. High androgen levels so much, even though, as you can see, my skin is it's not bad, don't get me wrong, I don't say that it's bad, but this is how it was, and this is how it starts being right now. So we will see if we're going back to beautiful acne. And I have to let you know as well that just on a private note, if you've been watching me for a while, you know my struggles a little bit more about my life, because in this part of the video I sometimes speak about it a little bit more. And what I want to tell you from the PCOS point of view is that the stress is the worst thing for PCOS. And I have noticed, I don't know if it's because I'm back on carbs and you know that my periods were the most regular on keto. My skin was the best on keto, but for some reason now during the times of stress, I just can't go keto. I need carbs. And so I've been eating carbs, and I maybe have not been eating the cleanest, but definitely my periods are maybe slightly getting out of whack, because they were really, really on point for a while. They were literally, I could predict them by 3 hours here and there, so maybe 6 hours. But they were literally 28 or 29 days, and I could really predict them. And now they've been late for 2 days, 3 days, and I feel kind of different. And I feel kind of weird sometimes. And I know it's hormonal because I don't have the usual symptoms, like my PMS start late, or I don't have PMS, or I have 2-week PMS. Everything is all over the show. And I would like to say that, yes, I did have, Raquel is asking, Gautami, do you have your hormones under control? Exactly. Because this is something that we were talking about before, that very often for women who are already on therapy and then want to get rid of their unwanted hair, laser hair removal is going to work good. However, if your hormones are still out of whack, if you still have high levels of insulin resistance that is influencing your high androgen levels, and therefore is influencing your follicles, because your high androgen levels are influencing your hair follicles and making your hair grow quicker and grow darker and fall out sometimes from your head, then it might not work for you very well, because the cycle is still ongoing. You have to break the cycle of the bad hormonal levels and then proceed with laser hair removal. The only thing that is going to be immune to hormonal changes is electrolysis, and we're going to talk about it next week. Yeah, but just what I said, the stress will also get your hormones out of whack. This is what I want to say. So it's something to consider, whether you have hirsutism, whether you have insulin resistance, whether you have acne, whether you have hair loss, whatever it is. Stress can be horrible for you, and it always is horrible for me. And I can now feel it in my body. So both stress and possibly being on carbs, but I think definitely stress does this to my skin. And that's just the beginning. I hope that it's also the end, because it might just reverse and my skin might be better, but this might multiply by 20 and I might have acne back. So we will see. Right. Ladies, it was lovely to chat to you today. Thank you very much, Diana. Thank you, Gautami. Thank you, Raquel. Thank you, Heather. Thank you, everyone who tuned in today. We are going to be back in a week with a new video. So on Tuesday, 5 p.m. London time, we're going live every week. And next week, we're going to be talking about electrolysis for PCOS. So stay tuned, and I'll see you soon. Bye.